All right. I think we are rocking and rolling. Are we rolling? I can't. That's okay. Um, you probably still deal a lot with like managing your stress. You probably get way overstressed, which is natural for people who've been through what we've been through. And you need to reduce stress and manage that stress. You probably cope with depression a little bit and or anxiety. Sometimes they go hand in hand. They flip flop back and forth. Um, but journaling helps these things. It helps to manage your stress and reduce your stress. It helps cope with depression and anxiety. It helps reduce your anxiety. So it the way it helps is as simple as writing down whatever you want and not judging it because it makes you more aware of your thoughts. I know a lot of the time I have so many thoughts racing through my brain that I am just overwhelmed. And excuse me, a lot of the times I don't know what to do with those thoughts. I don't know how to slow them down and I don't know how to like pinpoint one specific thought that is bothering me. I have a frog. So sorry about that. Um, but writing it down in a journal and journaling, or if that word makes you feel weird, just say writing. Um, it really helps bring awareness to your thoughts, and it may bring up something that you didn't even know was in your mind. You might not even have known that you were upset about that thing. But if you're just writing it down and not judging your thoughts and not thinking about what you're going to write, and you just literally write what comes to your brain, it will really help your awareness. And it also, I'm so sorry, it went from snowing to like 65 back to snowing again here where I am. So I apologize for that. I'm gonna need some honey treatments. But with journaling, it really also it allows you to have a reference point of your thoughts and a reference to your thoughts when you meet with your therapist or when you need to like track your moods and your symptoms from day to day and see like when I did this I had this mood, when I did this I had this mood, and then if there are patterns there and you can find correlations to the things that you're doing and the moods that you are in after or during that activity, it gives you some insight on what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing. And it might sound simple and it might sound like extra work for you to do. People, healing is work, and work is hard. And you have to put in the hard work to do the hard thing. And the hard thing is growing. It's growing because it's uncomfortable and it feels like you want to resist it. You don't want to talk about it and you don't want to sit down with your therapist every week. And I get it. I get it. I really do. But it's important. It really is important, and it's important for you to heal, and it's important for you to be able to live your everyday life without carrying heavy boulders of your trauma and your past that you shouldn't be carrying around. It's time to take those off and hand them back to the person that they belong to or the people that they belong to. Okay, so it also really awesome thing about that, and uh, uh, an even more important part about allowing you to see reference of your thoughts in the past is it also allows you to take control of your thoughts in the moment, and also in like your therapy sessions and stuff. So here's how. So when you have all of these racing thoughts and you can't even think about all your thoughts because there's so many and they're flooding and they're overwhelming and they're causing you anxiety and panic, take physical control by grabbing a pen, ripping it really hard if you need to. Feel, I don't know what's going on. Feel the pen in your hand. I'm a left-handed person. And write it out. You have control at that point. You're controlling your thoughts to the paper. You're controlling the pressure you're putting down on your pen. You are controlling your handwriting, whether it's fast and sloppy and crazy or slow and methodical and neat. You're controlling whether you're writing in cursive or capital letters. You can practice so much control just by writing, um, which is really awesome for people who have felt in their lives like they have no control, especially while being traumatized. Whatever that trauma looked like for you, most likely 100% of you felt completely out of control and completely helpless, like you couldn't do anything about it, at least at that time. And so we tend to always be looking for ways to exert control in our life. And this is a way, this is a really healthy way because you're combining it with getting your thoughts just out of your mind and on the paper. You're combining it with the idea that you can take your thoughts. Sorry. You can take your thoughts and carry them back with you to your therapist and read through those thoughts. And your therapist can help you break that down and find what's going on. See, because if you're not able to pinpoint good emotion and you're just overwhelmed with all of the emotion and you really can't say, I'm feeling this, which is very normal. We have a really hard time. We've had to suppress our emotions for so long that sometimes it's even hard to identify them or to allow ourselves to feel them. So try writing them. Try writing them. But if you're not able to express your emotions and you're not able to really understand your thoughts and figure out what's going through your mind, what you're worried about, because when they're racing and you can't think your thoughts really, you don't know what they are and you don't know what they're about. And that has got to be frustrating. I know it's frustrating. It was frustrating for me. It still is to this day. I still practice this. But your therapist is also, if you can't pinpoint your emotions and your thoughts and you can't clearly express that because you can't pinpoint them and express them correctly, your therapist is not going to understand all of what you're going through. And while, yes, they are professionally trained, they are there to help you, they want to help you, but you also have to help them help you. And journaling is a really awesome way to do that, especially if you're kind of stuck in a rut with your therapy and you feel like it's not helping. It can help. It really can, but you have to structure it a little bit. And sometimes it works better for people to take control of their therapy rather than let the therapist lead. So if that resonates with you, give it a try and let them know what you're doing. But it's most likely that they're getting a little frustrated too when they see you get frustrated and they feel like they're not able to fully help you as much as they want to because they can't read your mind. They can dig into what you're saying and dissect it and psychologically figure out a little bit more in depth of what you're talking about, but if you can't say anything and you can't really get to the root of the problem and you keep it inside, they're not gonna know and they're not gonna help. So write it out. And then once you feel comfortable enough, then you can say it to your therapist and you can read it to them and they can help you dissect your thoughts and try to help you change your perspective and change your mindset and show you ways to improve. Not your journaling. They don't care about how you're journaling. They care that you're journaling, that you're getting these emotions out. Because that's so important. It's so important to get them out of your body. Get it out. Like the anger. Like it's just, I keep reading in the group, and I agree so much that it's poison inside of you, and it is. And if it's in there and it stays in there, then it's just going to rot. It's going to rot you from the inside out because things are going to trigger you and um, things are going to hurt you again. Life is hard. And I hate to say that, and I don't want to sound negative when I say that, but there are hard things in life that people have to deal with continuously. And so people who have been abused, especially as children, um, but at any time, it's just an extra really, 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 really hard thing to carry on top of more hard things that are inevitable in your life. Um, it's kind of the nature of the beast is just, you have to sometimes deal with death. And anyway, it really helps, getting back on topic, um, it really helps connect you and your therapist, and it can give you a really good reference point and guidebook to maybe some more productive sessions. And if you're not in therapy, it can really just help you bring light to what you're thinking. All right, so you write everything and write every day if you can. Try to find time. Maybe it's right when you wake up in the morning. Maybe it's during your lunch. Maybe it's right before you go to bed. That's when I like to journal. That's my favorite time, is to just decompress from the whole day and write while I am laying in bed getting ready to go to sleep. That way I can get my thoughts out of my head. And I've actually found, and I don't know if this will work for you, I'm not a scientist. I didn't read it in any scientific journal or discussion or anything like that. Um, but I've found that when I journal at night and I really get in depth with my journal and I really try to dig deep and not just stay on the surface of like, this is what happened in my day and this is, but really get it out, I really have found that it can tend to reduce my night terrors. I don't know if you guys struggle with night terrors a lot, but I do. And they get pretty bad. Nightmares and night terrors. I woke up this morning, my husband was laying and sleeping on the couch because I totally didn't know, but I was kicking and like screaming and rolling in my sleep, because I have really bad night terrors. I have really bad night terrors, but journaling, it helps reduce them. And it helps, especially if I am able to kind of wake right up in the morning and journal about what I can remember or how I'm feeling and get that feeling out and get those memories out or whatever I can and get it out. That is also very helpful because then later I can come back and dissect it and I don't have to worry about trying to remember it all day long, so I can talk to my therapist about it or journal about it and figure it all out. So that's also a really good technique that you might be able to use. Write the good, the bad, the angry, the boring, the ugly, the stupid. But I encourage you so much to not judge your writing. Please don't judge your writing. Just let it flow. Just let it flow. Your natural journaling style will eventually develop on its own. It'll start to manifest. You'll start feeling what's right and what's working for you, and it'll really you'll get it. You will get your own style, and it'll come. You just have to keep practicing it, just like everything else. Um, and if you do end up feeling stuck and you don't know where to start, or if you don't journal at all right now and you don't have any idea where to start, you literally can't write a single word on your paper, I have a couple starter journal prompts for you, and there are also a ton more journal prompts. If you just like Google um, mental health journal prompts or um, depression journal prompts or whatever, um, you kind of want to keep it maybe a little more mental health related. Otherwise, you're going to get some goofy, like short story type of prompts where they're like wanting you to do fiction. And if that is helpful to you, by all means, do that too. But I encourage you to journal first about your feelings and your emotions and what's going on inside. So, some really quick, easy prompts to get you started is, how am I feeling? And just really think about it and give yourself some time to feel, go through each part of your body and your mind and assess how you're feeling right then. And then ask, how do I want to be feeling? How do I want to be feeling? If you're feeling tension, maybe I want to feel loose. So then you can go back and say, okay, I can actually help myself do that. Let me do some stretches. Let me take some deep breaths. Let me get a little easy. What do I want to learn about myself? That's a good journal prompt. What would I never change about myself? What do I love about myself, and I would never change it for the world? Um, Describe your day. You can describe your day. That it can get you started at least, but try not to stay superficial. Try to dig a little deeper and throw some emotions in there. Try to think about your day and how you were feeling throughout your day. But if you're having a really hard time, then just start by journaling about your day. Um, Another good one is to describe yourself and your life, especially if you are in therapy and you can talk to your therapist about it. This is a really good one to help dissect your thoughts about yourself and how to try to work to change those. So describe yourself and or your life. Those are some really good ones. Um, Stream of consciousness journaling is a lot like the free writing, where you're just put the pen to paper. You can set a timer, 15, 20 minutes, whatever you feel like you have enough time to do, and write without judgment, write without taking the pen off the paper. Do not think about what you're writing, just let it come out. And to get you started, especially with the stream of consciousness journaling, you can pick an emotion that is overwhelming. Um, it's like overwhelming your body, or one that you haven't felt in a while, like that you're having a hard time accessing. Like for me, it would it's most likely anger. I still have a hard time sometimes getting that out. So write that word. Take that emotion and as a word and write anger, and then, or I am angry, and then your natural mind, it will inevitably take you somewhere else. It'll lead you to your next words, whatever those words are. Don't judge them. Don't say that, oh, that's stupid. Do not even think about it. Write it out. Just write it out. You don't have to give yourself a length limit. um, I only say set a timer because sometimes you can end up getting really deep, and you want to give yourself some time to calm yourself back down if you get um, stressed or overworked, or maybe a little re-traumatized by your memories. Sometimes memories can pop up that you don't really remember, which is really good. It's a really awesome sign. Your body and your inner child is trusting your older self to remember that memory again. And so, with that, you take it and you appreciate it and you say, thank you. Thank you, little girl, for sharing that with me. You are safe now, and I will protect you. In those words, saying them and feeling them to yourself, that's healing. That's healing. That's being the survivor that you needed. That's being the safety person. That's being the adult that you needed at that time. And you are taking that little inner child who, if you can picture yourself as that little scared person in your brain, you just wrap them up in your arms so tight and say, it's okay. And you could physically, sometimes I do this. You'll probably see me on some of my videos doing this. And it's a comforting thing. And you just wrap your inner child up and you comfort that little baby. It's 8 o'clock and we're at 27 minutes, but I'm going to finish this because we don't have much time left. So, yeah, just right. Don't stop. Don't think about it. Just go. And really, with some practice and with some real intentionality behind it, this is one of the easiest ways, much like breathing, much like the grounding technique. It's a really easy way to get in touch with your emotions. Like I said at the very beginning, it's a really awesome way to manage your stress, to reduce your stress, to reduce your anxiety and depression, and to get in touch with yourself and your mind and your body and your emotions. It can be so beautiful. It can be so beautiful. And if you have a hard time writing in a journal for safety reasons where you don't feel completely safe, you feel like maybe somebody's going to read it, journal on a computer. That's okay too. As long as you're getting it out, you don't have as much control when I was talking about the pen and the pressure you're feeling, but that is not a huge deal. You still have control over the font, the size, the formatting. So you're still able to practice a lot of control in that way. So write it on a computer and lock it down. You can set up a private email and do it in the Google Docs, and then lock it down. Um, I had that problem for a little while where I would journal and I would journal about some really personal things and people would read it and I felt very violated. Um, but expressing that these are your personal thoughts and that there is nothing in there that is going to attack that other person that might be nervous about what's happening. Just having that open communication can be helpful sometimes. If you know that's not an option and the person is a little illogical and overreacts a little bit, like I said, do what you have to. Put your safety first. So if you're still in a situation where you have to tread lightly, be smart. But for those who are in a safe space now and are just looking to heal, man, man. I don't know how many journals I've gone through in my life, but I can tell you this year I've already gone through 3. So I journal all the time. I take my journal with me everywhere so I can write every day whenever I need to, whenever a thought pops in my mind. Even if I want to jot a note down just to reference it later so I can dissect it and get a little deeper, that's what I'm doing, you know? And it used to kind of embarrass me a little bit. Like, who's the weird girl with the notebook? Other people's opinions are none of your business. That's a Rachel Hollis quote. If you haven't heard of her before, I love her. She used to be a blogger a while ago, and she's now a 2-time New York Times bestseller, published author. She is a motivational speaker. She owns her own company. I love her so much. She really sparked a lot of um, she sparked a lot of things inside me, and she really set me on fire. So if you haven't heard of her before, I strongly encourage you. That's where that quote is from. Yeah, other people's opinions are none of your business. You do what is best for you. But today's quote that I actually wrote down to share with you are: there are two ways of spreading light: to be the candle or the mirror that reflects it. Edith Wharton. So, a little something for you guys to think about on this Friday. So, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I went a little over on time, but it was worth it because you're worth it. Um, I want to remind you that I will not be live this weekend, but I will be back live on Monday. You can check out the schedule on the group. I posted on the group. And take care of yourselves, guys. Eat something that'll nourish your body. Move your body for 30 minutes a day. Drink your water. Practice your gratitudes. It's day 15. I'm getting ready to make that post here in a little while of the 30-day gratitude challenge. So please join in on that. Even if you hadn't started before, it's okay. Start today. Um, it's totally fine. So I want to say thank you guys for being here. Thank you for being in this group with us. If you're not in the group and you're watching this on the main page, please consider coming and joining the group, especially if you are truly a survivor. So again, thank you guys. You are worthy of healing. Your trauma was not your fault. Um, take it easy this weekend and practice some self-care because you deserve it. Bye.